Hello, this is Mr. Jarrett, and in this video tutorial, we are going to be moving on to our Introduction to Solid Modeling. So in this activity, the directions say that you will begin to develop your knowledge of solid modeling and your critical thinking skills. Before you start modeling the object, try picturing it from all of its different 2D views. This may help you model the object more efficiently with less steps. Model all of the objects with the origin's location beginning at the same location as seen in the picture. When finished, obviously you're going to check your mass properties and you're going to save all of your parts. So the key thing here is that you need to try to picture the part from the different 2D sides. So that means the flat sides before you start. So I have a little example here. So you can see the object, okay, and if we looked at it just from the top view, this is what it would look like. So this little square piece is that square piece, that rectangle is this rectangle, and then this piece down here is this big piece. So that's looking at it from the top. So if we were looking at it from the front, so from over here, this is what our front view would look like, and our side view would look like this. So that's kind of peeling this back into three different flat views. So this isn't the same object in here, but you can kind of see what I just explained, looking at it from the top, from the front, and from the right. All right, so that is what we are going to try to do here. So the first object that I gave you was this object here. So you'll see that we already drew some tougher ones than these. This is not trying to challenge your drawing ability. It's trying to challenge your thinking ability of how can we draw this faster or more efficient. Okay, so I will give you a piece of paper in class with this all printed out. And I have a little spot over here with a big red dot as your origin, which is the same thing as this. And you need to think through and say, well, what would this look like if I drew it from the top? So that's this green arrow. I wrote top in green. Or from the front in blue, or from the right side in red. Okay, so which view would be the most efficient? So if the origin is sitting right there, think through the different steps that you would need to actually draw this. So I drew this in SOLIDWORKS already. I'm going to change this actually to a wireframe so you're not confused by the color. And by using the different quick keys that I've taught you before, so those same quick keys are just these up here, changing the different views. As you can see, it says control and then something. Okay, I'm going to rotate around. So control 1 is the front view. That's what your drawing should look like if you drew it from the front view, and your origin should be located right here. Okay. Control 4 is from the side view, so that's what your drawing would look like with your origin right here. And control 5, that would be your drawing as well. So you're going to say, okay, well, great, those are the different views, but how does that help us? Well, if I'm going back to my 3D view here, my isometric, you need to think through what's the most efficient way of you drawing this. Well, if you drew it from the top, you see how this is cut down. Well, drawing it from the top and extruding down, you'd be adding this material. Drawing it from the side, there's a cutout here. So once again, you'd be adding it from this material. How can we cut down on the amount of steps or the amount of sketches that you have to draw to make this shape? I drew this from my front view. So I drew just this piece right here, as you can see. So if I go to my front view, with my origin there, I drew the overall shape. I even drew that little box. I even drew this line. And then when I went to extrude, what I extruded here was the entire thing, and I sent it backwards. I hit the green check. Then I didn't make another sketch. I hit the extrude button again, and it gave me this warning, okay, this warning over here that says you need to select blah, 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 or an existing sketch. Well, I already did a sketch. So if I hit that drop down, and I hit the drop down here, I selected that sketch, okay, in order to do my boss extrude number 2. And you can see for my second extrusion, I just picked that middle piece and I brought it forward, which means my origin is located right there at the end, right where it needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to draw this again for you, but that's kind of the most efficient way. One sketch, 2 extrusions off that same sketch. You're not always going to be able to do that, but for some of these easy ones, this is going to teach you how to start thinking in a more efficient way and breaking it down easier than just saying, okay, let's just draw this, then draw another sketch and cut it, and draw another sketch and cut it. This was just one sketch, add, okay? So I'm going to start out by making a new part in SOLIDWORKS. So File, New. It says here that my units are in inches, so I'm going to go to the bottom right-hand corner and change it to IPS, if it's not already. Then I'll go to my Sketch tab, select Sketch, and I'm going to select the front plane. Okay. Now the origin is in this bottom edge down here. So that means I need to draw up into this area somehow. Okay, so I'll start there, and I'm going to work my way around just with the line tool. Anywhere that you know it should be horizontal or vertical, make it horizontal or vertical. That way you don't have to go back. Now you can see from your picture, which I have mine on my other screen, that the top of it goes past the origin. Okay. I'm going to hit escape, and I notice I made a small mistake here. I did not draw it onto the origin, so I'm going to just drag that back. So hopefully you just drew it right to the origin. Okay, then I'm also going to draw the inside. I have a box coming down, going across, and I have a straight line over here, and that actually goes up from my origin. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and dimension this. It says the whole way across the top is 2.25. The overall height it has is 1.5 inches. It says that this part from here to here is 0.75. And from the far outside to this line, it says is 1.75. So notice that started to kind of move things around here a little bit. And from here to here, it says is 1 inch. Okay. Now I still have some stuff that is blue, so we have to kind of figure out what that is. So if you don't know what something is or why it's blue, I get off of any tool I have, I click and hold on a dot, and I start moving things around. So notice what's happening here is I have this weird line down at the bottom right. You may have that, you may not have that. Okay, your stuff might all be black, but mine right now is telling me that this is not a horizontal line. So I'll make it a horizontal line. Now everything is black. Now I'll go to the Features tab, hit Extrude. And if you're looking at your shape, you can kind of see that the origin needs to be right in the middle. So that means I'm going to select into this area, select this area, and select this area. Notice I'm not selecting the lines, I'm clicking in the area. And you can see over here that it calls that area a region. If you see something else other than region, like a sketch contour or something, so see it says sketch contour, that means you selected the lines. So you can just right click on that and hit delete. So we want those sketched regions. I'm going to send this backwards, so change my direction, and the measurement that I want is half of the overall measurement. So it says on my picture, by looking at this, if I'm right here going backwards, it says the overall measurement is 1 inch, and this way is 1/2 inch. So that means, doing the math in my head, this is also a 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'll change this to 0.5, hit the green check. So now I have this full solid shape going back. I'm going to hit extrude again. And here's that warning I was talking about. It says you need to select an existing sketch. So I'll select this drop down, select that drop down, because there's my boss one. Here's my sketch one. So I just click on that, kind of shows you that sketch, and I am allowed now to select a region again. So I want this region, and this time I want it to come forward 1/2 inch, just like it shows in the picture. I hit the green check, and there's my solid shape. Then I can go ahead and change my material. So right click, and this one is copper, which is a default. And then I can hit evaluate and mass properties. So looking at my mass properties, it says that I have a mass of 0.84, and in the activity I also have 0.84. So if you got that correct, you can go ahead and save this and move on to the next activity. If not, please go back in, edit your sketch, and problem solve until you have it done.